everyone. Good afternoon. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but please, okay, I can see Rita Okika here. Rita Okika, if you can hear me, just drop a comment. Let me know if this is audible. Okay, but regardless, we don't have much time. This somehow is going to be recorded and kept on my YouTube channel. So people could easily go up there and, you know, go through the. Okay, Rita said, good day. Wash hands, wash hands. Okay, Rita, thanks for joining. So, today we're talking about answers to questions young single men ask. So, I don't think we're going to wait for more persons to join before we start or we continue. Brief introduction. My name is Grateful Obio, popularly known as Valley Mama. And I'm kind of excited to do this. This is my first YouTube live. So guys, today is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, a whole lot of fun. I have a lot of questions here on my desk, waiting and seeking for answers to them. So I have with me someone I respect a whole lot. Like, guys. Anyway, you're going to see him briefly. I call him the mind. He's the CEO of Mind Clinic, marriage and counseling, family, or something like that on Facebook. I guess we'll be able to drop it on the comment section here, so you could be able to see what I'm talking about and connect with him after this. So it's my singular honor to welcome Dr. Chidebere Nwachukwu, the person that will be doing this live with me today, the person that will be addressing several issues and several questions that you guys have asked. So please join me as we welcome our guests. I don't really want us to take much time because we don't have much time. I don't want this to be too lengthy, and the questions are already much. Guys, the questions are already much. So we will not wait for other people to join us. We have just one person watching now, but then we don't care. I know you guys will still see this video after we've recorded it, and after this section it will be on my YouTube channel. So just take your time, go through it, and don't forget to drop a comment on the comment section. So now, if you've watched up to this stage, I want to tell you something. One of the ways you're going to say thank you, Value Mama, for this is by subscribing to this channel. Please, I beg you to subscribe to this channel right now. If you're seeing this, subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on your notification bell or button for more videos, because I post content weekly. So it will be good having you on this platform. So guys, it's my singular honor to welcome our guest speaker for today, in no other person than Dr. Chidebere Nwachukwu. Hey, you're welcome, sir. Okay, help me welcome him. Come on. So,
grateful. Thank you.
Actually, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm very glad to be here. I'm very glad to be a part of your life.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So we have Dr. Chidebere all the way from Saudi Arabia speaking to us here. So no matter where you're from, you could just relax and connect. Mostly, I think Nigerians, from my analytics, mostly Nigerians see this video. So guys, we have an international speaker speaking to us today. So actually, I said we're going to proceed without waiting for more persons to join us, because we have some questions that I know you're going to take your time to buttress and want to explain and explain and explain. So please, as I ask the question, you would try to answer, be a little bit practical and straight to the point as well. People would always come back here to see the video. So please just assume that you're already talking to a whole lot of persons, because this video is going to be on my channel for persons to come back and view.
Sure.
So, okay, I'm going to start with the first question. This person said, I don't know, let me try and reflect it on my screen. This person said, is it wrong to woo a lady as a Christian brother? And this person still said, does a Christian brother have to woo a sister? Me, I don't know.
Okay.
So please, yes.
You see, because I know you, and I happen to also come from similar religious background as yourself, I can imagine what your audience looks like and what is in the mind of the person who asks this question. Are we
All
together on
right.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, and well, let's start by saying what is wooing? Wooing is simply trying to gain the love of someone. Simple. The
Okay.
attempt to gain the love of someone. Others call it trying to court a lady, trying to pursue a lady, or trying to chase a lady, whichever term you want to use to describe wooing. They are all
Okay.
synonyms. Are you getting? And it's completely
Yeah.
different from flirting. Flirting is just trying to get a lady, maybe to sleep with her or something like that, superficial, nothing serious. But wooing in particular means you're trying to get this lady to not just fall in love with you and maybe sleep with you, but to marry her. Are you getting? So the idea
Okay.
behind wooing that differentiates it from flirting is that
Okay.
you want to marry this lady. So is this guy now trying to say, should a Christian brother try to get a Christian sister to want to marry him? Are you seeing?
Okay,
So if
I think it depends because from this person's perspective, it might be like they have a church marriage
I'm going
committee.
to come, I'm coming to
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So there is a major difference. Now you see, different religious organizations and sects have set up patterns which in themselves are supposed to be protective, more like maintaining law and some kind of order in God's house. Are you getting? So
Okay.
because
Yes.
he's mentioned Christian brother, so he's in God's house here. Are you getting?
Yeah.
So now some
Yeah.
of those rules and regulations are trying to reduce the frictions between singles and reduce all the singles drama that are experienced in various assemblies. So now, because I can imagine that this person that is asking this question comes from a similar background to us, and so the question he's asking here is a tradition question, is not a scriptural question per se. It's an issue of, is it wrong in my
Yeah.
church to woo a lady? So in his church, it might be wrong. But scripturally speaking, there is nothing wrong in wooing a lady. In wooing a lady.
Okay.
Are you getting? So because you are simply trying to get the lady to fall in love with you. Now, the problem comes when you take this same Christian brother and put him in another environment, for instance, where his church is not existing, and then he's still single. His church is not there to give him the structure that helps him find a wife, in quotes, without wooing any lady. Now, is he going to stay single for life because it is maybe a sin, according to his church, to woo a lady?
Okay.
So you see, once he finds himself in this other scenario, he will begin to think more open-mindedly. He will realize now this is not an attempt to create dissension in any assembly or church. My proposition is this: if you choose to belong to an organization, then somehow you are bound by the tenets and the rules that govern and regulate activities in that organization. So in his church, it might be wrong to woo a lady if that is the tradition he has accepted to come under. But the moment he comes out of his church, this is no more a wrong thing to do. It's not even a sin in the first place, but it becomes a sin. Remember what Paul said. He says, when there was no law, there was no sin, and then the law came,
Yeah.
and then sin. The moment
About.
his church said, don't speak to a lady, don't try to cut a lady, don't try, even in that his church that says you shouldn't woo a lady. Now, the church did not made specific recommendations as to limits what you should do and what you should not do. Wooing is not essentially going to tell a lady, will you marry me? I hope you know that. There are 1,001
Yeah.
ways. Body languages are 1 million. In fact, most of our communications are not with spoken words, they are with body languages. And so I could simply start getting close to you, and you don't know what is in my mind. But over time, we could just be talking about stuff. Maybe we are colleagues in school, classmates, and all of that. We talk academics and those things. But if you are a grown-up, if you're matured, over time, you're going to begin to sense those body languages that communicate an affection towards you. Are you getting the point now? I'm already wooing you. I don't have to see you marry me. Are you getting? And so, because I know the church is asking from, this is not wrong in the first place. In fact, let me tell you something. In my fellowship, we usually, in many Christian fellowships, you're going to see the presido marries the vice president, who's usually a sister. Are you getting me? So what happens there? What do you think is happening? Now, the presido is supposed to be the spiritual echelon, as in the paradigm in a campus fellowship, for instance. And so, but usually by working together, two of them spending a lot of time together, values begin to be transferred, affection begins to build. Proximity, they say, affection. And so, indirectly, whether the presido agrees or he says that he wooed her or he didn't woo her, brother has wooed this sister without saying anything. Thank you.
Oh, wow, that was plenty. Oh. So in essence, wooing is not wrong morally. That's what I got from your answer. Yes, wooing is not wrong morally. And basically, even in the church setting that we talk about, the MC marriage committee setting, I think there's actually a time for that. Basically, when you've made your intentions known, I don't know. I really don't know how that works, but like you said,
because I know the marriage committee you're talking of here.
The way
structure does not give you the opportunity to really
okay. So what you're saying is
say yes or no before the courtship in quotes starts.
Okay, yes.
You already know what you're doing.
Okay, so you're saying that most times you don't even need to say, "Will you marry me?" You're not wooing. Through your actions, someone could know your intentions, right? So definitely. I think that's cool. That's cool. Let's go to the next question. I really feel the pain of this person in the next question, and but let's just go to it. The person said, "What happens when you love someone and the love isn't being reciprocated, but then you want to take it to another level, like you want to propose marriage and everything?" So, is this actually a little bit emotional? But it happens. So, hey, is that emotional?
This guy should wake up. Seriously, we need to. How do we say it in the medical parlance again? We need to shock his heart back to life, or his brain. It's actually his brain. We need to shock his brain back to life. You know what? This guy is saying, if I fail nursery 1, can I just leave nursery 1 and go to nursery 2? If you fail nursery 1, you got to repeat nursery 1 before you go to nursery 2. The first step is to gain this woman's love. This woman loving you is more important than her saying yes to a marriage proposal. Because
that's
marriage,
key.
You want to be married to someone that loves you, not someone that said yes to you. People say yes for all kinds of reasons. In fact, the wealthier men become, the more scared they are that a woman that doesn't love them is going to say yes just because of their money. And that's a big fear many men that even I know have. I have friends, they are saying no husband everywhere. I mean, I'm a guy, so I know guys who are ready to settle down, have money, but the lady is the problem. Now, do you think they just want any random lady to say yes? Are you getting the point? They want it to be two-way. Now, there's another way to look at this. Now, it's a very warped mindset that people have, as in men have of females in the 21st century, especially in the Nigerian cyberspace. You see a lot of it. You know, men believe marriage is something they can brandish to a woman and trap her into loving them, in quotes. You don't do that. In fact, if I were a lady and I say no to a relationship with you and you propose marriage the next week, I will give you a dirty slap if I can.
Wow.
Give you a dirty slap. Because
it means
that you don't think that I have my own values. You don't think that you don't believe that I have the things that I'm looking out for in life, and that I'm making this
Mm,
decision objectively. So you think I'm desperate to get married, and so once
yeah,
you dangle marriage like a carrot in front of me, I will follow
you
just
run
anybody.
and
I'll
hop
tell you
into
the
it.
story. While I was courting my wife during the 2 years we courted before we got married, someone met her. She was 7 then, and asked her, I would like to marry you, blah, 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 blah. And then she told him, I'm engaged. Guess what the guy said? The guy said, he asked her, when are you guys planning to get married? And then she told him. And this young man told her, if you say yes to me, I'll marry you faster than when you guys are planning to get married.
Whoop! Really? Are you kidding me? Hey, this is
so,
crazy. This is
so
crazy.
to him, it was about the
Wow.
speed. It was all about the speed. So guys must wake up. You don't use a lady that does not love you she has been nice enough to you by saving you the agony of being in a loveless marriage. And then you're now
Wow.
trying, God is trying to save you, and then you're using your hands and your 2 eyes and your 2 legs to jump into hellfire. I'm going to tell you another story. I counsel a lot of people. There's this young man that he loved this lady, I guess, from what he said, they were colleagues and all of that. So he asked her to marry him, and she said no. And he moved on with his life. 5 years later, I don't know who gave him information that the lady was now desperate to get married because she was still single, apparently. So he now felt, oh, finally, opportunity to go and grab what I've always wanted. And so he came back
Mm,
again and asked her again, and she said yes. Now, after saying yes, marriage plans kicked in quickly and they got married. Guess what? Less than 1 year of getting married, he began to discover stuff, many, many things. And today, he believes this lady does not love him, that she's in love with someone else. And his wish and desire, as of today, I could hear it in his voice and his tone, is to end the marriage and escape. He wants to end it. So you don't do that. In fact, the moment a lady says no to you and you ask her why, and she explains logically why she's saying no, my brother, thank God and walk away. Forcing
mm.
yourself
Re-
into her life is breeding disaster. I think I should stop here so that we'll handle the other questions. So
Okay, thank you.
this young man should not continue with what he's trying to do. He should not even propose to this lady. He should move on with his life and find a lady that loves him for who he is and not because he's promising her marriage. Simple.
Oh wow, that's cool. Like, you said something that got me so like I'm like amazed. You said it's better you marry someone that loves you than someone that says yes to you. Yeah, it makes much more sense because I mean, what's there to get married to someone that you just because the person just said yes to you or because the person wants to just rid you of the pressure or stuff like that. It's crazy. So the next question is this is so funny because I mean, okay, let me still ask it. Person says, sorry, let me get it on the screen. Okay, why do sisters say no to brothers after keeping them waiting for so long? Please tell us.
Okay, because we are speaking from the Christian point of view here, and you
Please be
mentioned, or the
general
person that is
too.
asking this question, yeah, mentioned sisters. He didn't say why do ladies. And so if you
Oh,
answer this question generally, you'll be answering it out of context. You understand?
okay,
Even though
okay.
I could still drop 1 or 2 points from a general point of view and not specifically a religious or Christian point of view. Now, but we are going to handle this person's question first. He asked it. It's not the public that asked the question for him.
Okay.
Okay. Now, number one is that most ladies tell the brothers, most sisters tell the brothers that they want to pray about the proposal. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That is what is generally taught in Christian sects and in religious circles to do. So when a guy walks up to you with a proposal, you tell him, okay, fine, I've heard what you said. I'll need to take some time out to pray about your proposal, and then I'll get back to you as to my response. Are you getting? Good, because we
Mm-hmm.
believe God should support us in this journey of marriage. It's a very long journey, so you don't want to start it without God. And so the sister goes to pray. Sometimes she was really praying. She's truly, truly praying. And if a sister goes to pray for God to confirm or to tell her whether not to marry you, God reserves the right to say yes or no. So and we can't tell God when to answer a person's prayer. We just have to depend or wait for God to answer the prayer. I'm assuming here that the sister is being sincere and she was really praying about it with an open
Okay.
mind. And so if it takes 2 months or 4 months or 6 months, and God finally said, my daughter, my answer is no. And she comes to tell you, it's not her fault. Are you understanding? It's not this lady's fault here. Yes, it's not this lady's fault. It was simply a no. It was a no. And so once it's time for a lady to get married, usually so many guys come and they're all proposing. Usually you could have like up to 4 or 5 guys proposing to one lady that is ready to
Yeah.
settle down. And so she's going to say yes to only one person. So when she says no to 4 people, and maybe one of those 4 people is unfortunate to be among the same 4 that will receive another no from another sister. And maybe he is
Chai.
so unfortunate again to be among the other 4 again that will receive the no. He now concludes that Christian sisters, after keeping Christian brothers for a long time, end up saying no. So this is one
So
perspective. There's another
yeah.
perspective.
Okay.
Another perspective is that some sisters are carnal, and so they are not necessarily praying. When they say let me take time to pray, they're actually saying let me scan the weather, the
Options.
environment, and make sure the options, and make sure there's no better guy that is showing up. Once, if there is no better guy showing up, her answer becomes yes. But if a better guy shows up during the period we are waiting, her answer becomes no. And so her prayer was not really prayer. It was like a waiting period, in quotes, to see whether she was going to get someone better than you. And then the third
Yeah.
scenario here is that some sisters actually tell the brothers no from maybe after 1 week or even 2 days or even on the same day. Remember, you already know my story. I got a no. The very
Yeah.
day I told this lady, how are you thinking about taking our relationship to the next level, blah, 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 blah. She told me no. She didn't tell me, let me even pray at all at all.
Yeah.
She told me no, straight up. Are you getting me? It was like, wow, you didn't even think about it. Now, some guys will see that no, she will finish saying that no, and the guy will now come back tomorrow to continue putting pressure on her. And then she tells him to give her time. Mind you, she already told him no. Now she tells him to give her time just to get him off her neck. And then she forgets about him literally and carries on
Yeah.
with her life. And then maybe 6 months later, the guy that has been waiting, in quotes, believing or
Comes back.
assuming that she was praying, now comes back and say, yeah, I remember what we talked about in 2024, or in 2019. How far? The lady says, okay, I'm sorry that I've not told you before now. The answer is actually no. And the guy goes crazy. He now says Christian sisters keep Christian brothers for long and
So
still
so
say no.
sometimes, in other words, a generalization sometimes out of
Yeah,
experiences.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
So let's get to the next question. I think this one is a little bit medical and a little bit sensitive. He said, what level of damage or repercussion should one expect in the future, especially health wise, as a result of a past aggressive addiction to masturbation? Perhaps there's a possible solution medically. Please, what do you advise? And this person still added in my DM that he's approaching the age of marriage, so he wants to be sure he's not going to be doing the wrong thing to the lady. Question.
Okay, so let's start with what is an addiction. It is an inability to stop doing or using something, especially when that thing is harmful. Are you getting the
Okay.
point? So when we come to the topic of masturbation, very controversial. Though the question is not asking whether it's seen or not seen, which is a whole kettle of fish on its own. He's asking here whether there are long-term
Health.
repercussions or health implications for his
Yeah.
actions. Are you getting the point? Now, he
Yeah.
already said in the question, aggressive addiction to masturbation. Addiction is already a medical condition. It's already a repercussion. It's already a challenge. It's already a problem as of today, married or single. The addiction
Wow.
component of it is already a problem. Now, it's not about whether masturbation is right or wrong. It's the fact that he's addicted to it means it is a problem. Now, usually we want to say that something has become a medical problem if it is now impairing you from performing your daily routine normal activities. You get the point? Now, there are people who can't go 1 hour without taking a break to the bathroom or somewhere to hide and masturbate. Are you getting the point? So it's a matter of like 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. Once they are alone, once there's opportunity, even in the midst of people, some get to such high points. That is a medical condition. That marriage or no marriage, we are not talking about long term. This in the short term is already a problem. And it's saying aggressive. In fact, some people get to a point of, even due to the frequency, they bruise their genital like organs, their penises, they bruise it, they injure it literally from masturbating. Are we together? Now, for such a person, medically speaking, if he now has sex, for instance, with a bruised penis, his chances of contracting a sexually transmitted infection are much higher than a person who doesn't have a bruised penis. I hope you understand. It explains itself because the mucosa, the skin has been broken, so there's easy access. Whether it's HIV or hepatitis B or anything, it's very easy for him to contract that during unprotected sex. Now, with respect to the long term, which is in marriage, for instance, now, a person that is addicted to masturbation will find himself often being pleasured and maybe satisfied at times when his wife is not available. And then by the time she is available, he himself might not be sexually available to satisfy his wife, to really have the coitus that his wife desires to have. So that present disconnect in their desires can be a problem for his spouse. So which means before his spouse is ready to meet with him, he has already pleasured himself, and now she's available. She wants to have sex with him, and he's not available emotionally or sexually speaking. He can't even get aroused at this time because he has satisfied himself before his wife showed up. So in this case, you can see that is a possible problem. And so such a person requires psychotherapy. He requires help. He needs to see a psychiatrist, actually. It's not a question we'll just talk about here now and answer. He needs to see a psychiatrist to help him deal with this. This is an addiction, and it's more serious than
So the
a
person
regular
said
person.
here in the past. So what if the person is free? Could there be still health? The person has visited the psychiatric or what have you or whatever like that, and the person is fine, or the person assumes
Okay,
is fine. So is there any still health benefit
if the
disadvantage?
person is free from the addiction or masturbation completely, as at
Yeah.
today, time T, there is no medical problem. There is no side effects, in quotes, to masturbation if you're not addicted to it. That's another myth some people don't know. It's another thing some people don't know. They say a lot of things, you grow bald, you do this, you do that, and there are a lot of spiritual things, you pour in demons and all of that. See, medically speaking, there is no side effect to masturbation. In fact,
wow.
there are actually advantages if you want to go towards that side. But let me not run the risk of encouraging people on your platform to do so.
Yeah,
But if you want
please
to go
don't.
medical, if you want to go deep down medical, then I could actually give you pros to that. But let's leave that for today.
Okay, please, I'm going to pause my camera to read this question because it's on my phone and it's not on the screen. Hope you can still hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, it says, I'm in a relationship with a lady who spends and loves to be spent on. I'm managing my resources so I can be stable for future purposes. Truly, I love this lady so much, and I've tried making her see reasons with me why we should cut short on spending, but she thinks I'm stingy. What do you advise me to do? Saying she ticks the box for my ideal life partner. How do I balance it up so I don't actually become stingy towards her?
Okay. Let's start by saying that I'm not sure this particular lady, um, she doesn't sound very matured to me, because
Okay.
most matured ladies I know would not would willingly choose or make the sacrifice it takes for them to get married to the man of their dreams, especially if it has to do with cutting down expenses. Are we together? I don't know if that's what I just said.
Yeah.
I want to assuming, in fact, there are two ways to answer this question. There is a funny and a serious way. Are you getting? So let's start with the
Okay.
funny way. The two ways are correct. So the funny way is this. This lady, I'm trying to shut down all the logic in my head and answer it the funny way. This lady ticks all his boxes, and the only thing is that she likes to buy stuff, to spend money. She likes to group.
Mm,
She's an expensive lady, and then she ticks
mm,
all your boxes. So the funny way to answer this is to say, my brother, since she's giving you peace in every other aspect of this relationship, and you are not having to bother or think or deal with the challenges people deal with in relationships on a normal day. So use that space in your brain or your mind to go and look for money to satisfy the lady that ticks all the boxes
all
in
your
your life.
boxes.
Are you getting? So,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, money is a modifiable factor, and he should. The moment he can solve this money problem, like this lady is a gold, is like everything is his own value, mama. Are you getting? So he should just go ahead and go and make
Yeah, that's
money. He
serious.
should just make money
Okay.
and marry the lady without doing anything. In fact, it's easier to make more money than to change this lady. That is the funny way to answer this question. Now, the serious way to answer this question is, do you tick all the boxes in this lady's life too? To
Okay.
this lady that is ticking all your boxes, assuming we meet her today, do you tick all her boxes as well? Except the fact that you are not bringing plenty money, for instance. So if you tick all the boxes for this lady, then we can have more serious discussions. But in the absence of that, then this guy is already playing. If this lady is in it for his money, then he is joking. No matter what boxes she's ticking, because every good lady will tick many boxes in most guys' life. So if this lady does not love you and does not see you the way you see her, there is no point pushing this whole talk. Now, but if, for instance, this lady ticks all your boxes, this is from the serious point of view now, and she's spending too much, she's willing to marry you. Let's even start from the fact that she's willing to marry you. You just said she's in a relationship. It's not enough to be in a
Yeah.
relationship. Relationship may not mean anything to a lady. In fact, at the same time, you're spending so much money on her. Two other guys might be
Yeah.
spending even more than you. And so if she's in it for the money, if money is a deal breaker for her, it means you should walk away on time, because she's going to break your heart and follow the guy for the money
Yeah.
if she's
Yeah.
committed to you. But if she's committed to you and she wants to marry you, then we can have more serious discussions with her. You may want
Yeah.
to tell her your plans, be more open with her about your plans about life, plans about marriage. You see, I'm planning to get married by so year. If I have to say, this is my job, this is how much I make. Don't try to form or front a personality, because sometimes we guys try to show a lady we have a lot of cash, and then she accepts us
Yeah.
because of the personality we have. And maybe for her, the only box she wants anybody to tick is the money box. And then
Oh yeah.
you presented the money box, and then she said yes, and you've ticked it, and that's the only box that matters to her. She doesn't care any other thing about you. So the moment you take away the money box, she's off, she's going. And so if you show her your true self and your income, and make sure she really wants to marry you, so that you'll not be building castles in thin air. Make sure she really wants to marry you. Now, the moment you confirm all of these things, then you may want to share your life goals with her, your financial plans with her, and ask her when she plans to get married. If she's logical and sensible enough, she would see that her
Mm-hmm.
consumerism is standing in the way of building a future and a life with you. And she stands a risk. She runs a risk of losing if she continues like this. Any lady that loves you and that wants to marry you will cut down on her expenses in order for you people to get married. So you see,
Oh.
it's simple.
So it's so simple actually. From what he said, go and make money either, or have some financial discussion with someone. I think any
Seriously.
logical lady, yes, who is interested in actually settling down with you, that loves you, or is sure she wants to actually spend her life with you, would be ready to remove every obstacle, even if it's finance, from the way that would from I mean the way of or shortening her marital procedures or proceedings and stuff like that. So thank you. So the last question, we've already gone like we've taken a whole lot of time, but it's okay. I know you. The last question is a little bit confusing. I don't really get it, but I'll still ask it just in case you understand it, and then I might assume if you don't understand it. She said, in a situation, okay, he said in a situation whereby a lady keeps developing feelings towards diverse guys. I think it's a lady that asked this question, a lady, yes, that comes her way. But when it seems the man wants to make advances towards her, okay, I think she said the feeling would just subside. What can she do?
Okay, there are two ways to look at this, a number of ways, really. We need to start by exploring the past of this lady. So we need to find out
Okay.
her life, her family life, the family where she's coming from, her father, the people around her, uncles, her aunties. What's their relationship like? What's her father-daughter relationship like? What's the relationship between her father and her mother like? What's the nature of the home she's coming from? Because
Mm-hmm.
our homes have a far-reaching effect on our prospects and how we view relationships and marriage as a whole. Now, if this lady is coming from a damaged background, it's obvious why she's having this phobia. Obviously, what she has is
Okay.
commitment phobia. She's having the fear to commit to
Mm-hmm.
people, and the
Yeah.
fear does not really exist on its own. It is normal physiology for a lady that has reached or crossed puberty to be attracted to a
Mm-hmm.
man,
Mm-hmm.
person of the
Mm-hmm.
opposite sex, whether you even love the person or not. If he ticks your physical boxes, in quotes, you normally be pulled by the forces of nature and your hormones, like I usually say, to like the opposite sex. Are you getting the point before we start talking
Yeah.
about character and all of that? So if the only thing that comes in the way is your psyche, your psychology now. What the information that has been fed into your mind, into your brain, and all of that. And then there is no place where we have so much influence from, like the family. So if she's come from a
Mm-hmm.
toxic family, for instance, it might be fueling her fear of moving on to something serious with a man. Secondly, her past experiences with men. If she has maybe she was raped as a kid, she was abused by a man that was supposed to know she was a minor or a child and maybe protect her, maybe a relative or something like that, or even a boyfriend. All these things can fuel phobia, fear in her, like a post-traumatic stress disorder, preventing her from committing in the future. Are you understanding
Yeah.
me? So
Yeah.
these are the things we need to look at. And then another thing is society. Our society is, especially the internet space, social media, is littered with a lot of bad things about relationships and marriage. Many people are very scared and afraid of marriage because of the things they've read and seen. People have been killed by their spouses, and a whole lot of things have happened. So people are no longer willing are scared of even moving ahead, and she's letting those information to get to her. And subconsciously, she has developed the phobia towards relationships. These are all things we need to see. So we cannot really say how to solve her problem without knowing which of these things are responsible. If she's from a damaged family, for instance, she want to start by forgiving her dad, going back, finding a way to reconcile with herself, convincing herself she may need to be told, or find the right relationships or the right marriage. To maybe sometimes you actually need to live in a home that is peaceful to stimulate your hunger for a relationship and even marriage. Are you getting the point? So she may need to do that, consciously put herself in a family that is peaceful and in a loving relationship, and not just those that are peaceful on social media but not peaceful at home. Peaceful at home. So she put herself into that kind of setting, and it may just kickstart what she needs to feel towards a man. Another thing could be that the men that are coming to her are not even men she likes. You can't just start feeling. Sometimes people look very glamorous and wonderful from a distance. Remember, from a distance, the world looks blue and green. It doesn't look blue and green when you come there.
Oh yeah.
If you bring it closer, you see, blue and green means you're seeing just the sky and the vegetation. When you come closer, there is a very big space between the blue and the green, containing human beings, cars, goats, sheep, wars, rumors of wars, pestilences, and all kinds of stuff. So when they get close to her, she now sees the attributes in them that piss her off and make her to withdraw. And this is a protective thing, and she shouldn't feel bad about it if this is her situation, if this is what is happening to her. Are you understanding? So it means she should just wait until she finds the one who, when he comes close enough, does not spook her and make her run to hide in her
And there's a
shell.
connection.
So, exactly. We need to speak to this lady. Remember, she needs to marry only one man and not all the men that are coming into her life. Just one. So she needs the one who ticks her boxes.
Oh, that's true. So I think that was actually handled very well. And I mean, what can I say? Our relationship expert has spoken. So this is just value mama. So actually, this was actually a nice time. I learned a lot personally. And, as a youth coach, I think I've picked up one or two things that I could usually use to share to some persons out there who have these issues or who might still be in my DM after this video. And then I think this is actually a long one, but if you could take your time to go through everything said here, you are on like the road to solving some relationship problems. So guys, I'm so glad that you stayed true. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Yes, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Some more wonderful things will be coming up here. And our guest here, Dr. Chidebere Nwachukwu, is a CEO, like I said earlier, of a page and a group on Facebook. He's a mind clinic doctor.
Marriage and medical counseling is one of my groups, and the other
Let me
group
type
is
it here so you guys can see.
Marriage
On Facebook.
and medical counseling. I think we've been around for close to 6 months now, and we have over 80,000 members. People share lots of value. People have testified how much they've been blessed. I've told a lot of my personal stories. I just told you one here. So I've told so many of my stories, and members of the community also have the privilege of chatting me up, my DM and all of those, and getting one-on-one counseling and as much as we can handle as well. And we have other people that also post on the platform. Like I said, it's a group, and we've managed to forge a community of people with good morals, and we don't have trolls on our platform. In fact, if you troll someone, we evict you. And so we've been able to forge a community that has decorum as against most of what we see on the social media space. I think it's cool. And then the Mind Clinic with Dr. Chidebere, which is really kind of unconnected with what we are dealing with today. So let's leave that out and not confuse people. So let's just tell them
Okay, so
about
guys,
marriage.
go search for that this thing you're seeing, the name you're seeing on the screen right now. Marriage and medical counseling is a group. I'm part of the group. I'm a member of the group. Yes, so I know what he's saying. So much true. I get lots of values there, and I think once in a while too, I kind of post in the group. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget on a notification button. And yes, I know that you're going to be coming. Some persons will be seeing this video after now. So feel free to drop your comments, your questions on the comment section. I'm going to try to respond to them. And the ones I can't respond to, I'll take it to him. Yes, to him. And when he responds, I'll come back there and drop it. So
Yes.
guys, thank you very much, Dr. Shide very much for staying with
Thank you
us.
for
I really,
thank,
really appreciate you.
thank you. Thank you for having me. Grateful. It's been a great
All
time.
right. Oh, thank you. So guys, thank you so much. This has happened. Like I'm done with it. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for staying true. Really, Mama loves you. Really, Mama loves you so much. Subscribe to this channel for more beautiful updates. Good night.